man. Break open a can, do what you can, put that shit in my hand. $15 like Jay said in that one movie, damn, Clerks. Had a lot of profanity. I don't care what you really think about me, I'ma do my own thing and I'ma sing and shout G, yo, I'ma hang out with Raven, Shalabi, and the Raging Asian, Caucasian, Asian maiden.
Welcome to the Indigo Show. If you've been listening to any of these episodes, you sure know how it goes. I'm just some guy from somewhere on the planet babbling on, thinking he's a rapper. Turns out that's only about not even 5% of A, my end goal, B, the point of this podcast, C, my capabilities, D, anything I'm about. Like, if you go stargaze, shit, if it's nighttime right now, peek at the sky. If you're able to see any stars. Point at any one star in the sky. And any point of fucking moon for all I care. Point at your neighbor's dog. Now consider everything else that your eyes can see. You're pointing at me freestyling. Your eyes are intaking the rest of my existence. I thought about doing index cards for this episode to keep my ADHD from yanking me away, but I don't do good with outlines. It thins out my thinking. So at the risk of constant digression, and as we do, we just gonna go off the top, know what I'm saying? Whether you like it or not. You can even go tell your mom and pops. Shoot, call the cops. They probably listening too. Fuck them all. So let me attempt to summarize a little bit what's really going on. So I've said it enough times. This ought to be like the last time forever that I even bring this up. I've been doing music my whole life. Since I was 5. Got my first electric guitar at 5. I don't even know who bought it. I just know it was a white Fender. Probably a Squire. I guess it was my stepdad at the time. I think I strummed on it for one day, as far as I can remember, while eating popcorn, throwing that popcorn at the TV screen. I think because it crackled when it hit the static. That's all I got. Fast forward to about 11. Oh yeah, I'm summarizing. And the ADHD has begun. Alright, shake my head out. So I've been doing music my whole life. Over the decades, officially about 20 years or so. Maybe add a few extra, because the recent few years have messed up my sense of time. Over the years, I've learned what music means to me, of course, what I'm capable of doing, and I'll just say it right now, I'm not the best singer. I can do some things, that's for damn sure, but I'm not some industry-leading Devin Townsend, or I don't know who you want to name there. I'm not the Chevelle guy. I'm not Chino Moreno from Deftones, or any of them dudes that are going to redefine things and start up genres and stuff. That said, I guess I ought to detail that later. I'm not the best singer, but I can do some things. On the music side, I constantly go back and forth from having equipment to having my thoughts and nothing else. I've had points in time where I had whole setups, interface, instruments, all that. I've had points in times where all I had was maybe BandLab on my phone and some, $5 wired earbuds with no bass. There was a time I lived with some friends and my speaker system was a boombox. As in like a $200 black and red one-piece boombox that was meant for bass. And when I listen to those songs now, they sound pretty good. I think it's my 6 a.m. album, the electronic one. But boy, there'd be some bass on that. That boy, oh man, boom, 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 about all you hear. Not really. But, whatever. So my stuff goes back and forth in quality and instrumentation. And if you listen to any of my stuff, whether it's what I would, be kind of embarrassed to show people and constantly think of pulling off my Bandcamp, or if it's the stuff that I am dying for people to hear, one thing is certain. Two things are certain. It doesn't matter what I got, I'm gonna write. And whatever I write, it flows. With the exception of the White Noise album, which I'm not sure if I privatized or publicized that one. That's an old one from like 2011. Those songs are long and interesting, but I hadn't matured into true songwriting. I was just trying to come up with big parts that continuously get heavier every song. It was just, you learn as you go. Some people start simple. They got a lot of people surrounding them to help them grow the right ways. I've been alone my entire life. I always have usually one friend at a time for, a couple months, a couple years. And I've never had like a big band around me or a whole band scene or, I had some stray musician friends here and there. We didn't really do much together. With the exception of two. It's my homeboy Aaron and this dude Alex I used to know. Those two guys, I did most of the writing because I write nonstop, 24/7. Whether that be in my head or on the computer. These guys, obviously they enjoyed that and jumped in a little bit. And back in the day, I used to be doing all kinds of drugs. I started smoking weed and then jumped off to ecstasy and then went into acid and then did shrooms and was a cokehead for a while and, just on down the rainbow. And in those phases, I'd be making huge ocean waves of music. Like, I've probably made 1,000 songs easy my whole life. And it's 20 years of non-stop music production. Like, come on now. All the early ones, there is plenty of potential, if not prowess, already at hand. Or like, his stuff's a little loopy and dumb, but this could definitely go somewhere. Like, absolutely. There was some stuff back then where it's like, dude, these works could change, all kinds of levels of the industry. But point being, endless amounts of work. But those two dudes, Alex and Aaron, they had jumped in their own individual time periods. And we did a lot of electronic stuff. Aaron and I kind of just booped around a couple weird programs I had. Really tripped out, weird, just obnoxiously edited songs. All about inside jokes, so the lyrics were just goofy. But we were dying laughing. Rolling on the floor, kind of laughing. That was back when the Juice drink, which is evolved into Four Loko. Or rather, the trend of drinking juice evolved into the trend of drinking Four Loko. Back when juice was just the purple can. The one option. We used to get trashed on that, smoke some bud, do our thing, jam out. Oh yeah, but point before that, there's my ADHD. Well, whatever. I've basically just been alone forever. So I go really, really deep into my head. My emotional self, I'm not truly sure if it's because music is what I've always done.
All of y'all lame, I don't give a fuck if you just want to play with my games, everybody's stupid.
Or if it's like a natural calling, so to say. But if I'm going through something, it's gonna come out in music. Musical form, excuse me.
Alright, we gonna try this again. You know what I'm saying? My name's
You know, you go through a breakup, you write some songs, cry it out, and then move on. Sure. Everything I go through is transmuted, I guess that's the right word, into music in my head. I'll be going around, I was a big video game nut in high school. First thing I wanted to write music for was video game soundtracks, so let that be known. I'd be going, walk around in high school, I could be at the mall, I could be at work, I'd be in bed at home. Whatever's going on around me, if I don't have an earworm, which is the term for a song stuck in your head, like some pop song on the radio that won't get out of my head, if that's not a thing, 24/7, no matter where I am, whatever is happening in my environment, cited next to my emotional state at the moment, whether it's chill, happy, mad, sad, whatever, I'll just be hearing music in my head that matches that mixture. So for instance, if I'm at home and the family's around, I don't know, a holiday or something, and I'm kind of in my withdrawing mood, you just want to be in your room alone, you don't want all these people around you, and the family's got some kind of issue going on, people arguing, maybe there's a time crunch or some type of stress, like worst situation for people with anxiety, right? I'll probably run off to my room after a bit and just, seclude. Sorry if it sounded like it skipped. I wasn't sure if it was actually recording or not. Go be a dancer. I don't really care what you do with yourself. You can live your own life. You can toss it on the shelf. You can do whatever you want. You want to stand as little elves and go make some fucking Cuba cookies, whatever sells. Whatever sells. Let me back all the way up. I know what word you were thinking of right there. It's probably the SEX thing right there. If anyone's into astrology, this is what Jupiter and Aries looks like. Let's start a venture. We're straight in there. Fucking off with the blast. Oh, what did I do? What a mess. Oh well. On that note, before I will forget, if Jupiter has anything to do with anything, some big old blessing is gonna come at you with a just wake of destruction behind it. Like I always describe it like a 1,000-pound man on your birthday, coming to set a handmade birthday cake in front of you, but he's bashing and crashing through your house, stomping and storming all the way through, messes up the whole building, and then slams the cake down in front of you. It splatters all over the place. Half of it collapses from the force of him smashing it down on the table. Like, bam! I made you a cake! And your house is just rubble. That's Jupiter. Mine's in Aries, so head first, brain later. Alright. I have freestyled for 7, 8, 9 episodes. That is not the point of this podcast. I'm trying to keep it as an improv thing, but there's reasoning behind that too. Here's the genuine truth to the existence of this channel. So as I said, I've been a musician for over 20 years. Been a musician since I was 5. I'm 36 now. I've been writing music, should I say, for over 20 years. I wanted to start a podcast to kind of show my process, to get my music out there in a streaming kind of way, to be able to talk about my lyrics, explain the backstories. You know, you hear music, but you don't always really know what's going on behind the scenes. Some of y'all don't care. Some of y'all really want to know and don't know how to know. If anyone's heard my stuff, here's my way of making that happen. It gives me something to do. Instead of just writing, I get to kind of, express the rest of me. All of me is expressed in the music, but maybe not detailed. A lot of people want to learn how to write music or don't know what the process is like. That's what this was meant for too. I did attempt this a year or two ago when I lived in Magnolia. I had one episode with just me babbling about my thoughts on music and the industry and what I do and don't like. All that ego stuff. And of course it was real messy. Chopped up, whatever. I had recorded but not released a podcast episode where I actively made part of like the start of a song in the episode. And I was editing the episode before release, so I would record something in FL Studio and then, record guitar parts and stuff, kind of clean it all up, trim things and do whatever. So the whole episode is the way you want to hear it. The way I've been doing it now is just hitting record on my phone and going at it for an hour. Just live improvisational, who knows what. I'm going to kind of do a blend of those two ideas once I get my computer setup moving. I finally got a little interface mic and a desktop. Gonna need a better desktop. A 55-inch TV is my screen. Hey. I just want this show to be as entertaining as possible. Like, I want to hit the cap. Bump it upward a little bit. Make some dents. I figured improv was cool because I don't have to worry about it being perfect, which is a big thing of mine. My mind goes every which way. I might not always be the most creative person when it comes to comedy or rapping or whatever. But if I'm given time and actually edit something together, I could fill so much time. But anyway, I figured it was time for an episode where I'd just talk about my music, show what I can actually do, instead of people being like, oh, who's this Malibu's Most Wanted guy? Just talks in goofy voices, the recordings are bad, like, screw this show. I needed to get serious at some point. And I also wanted to get to where, like the point of this podcast mostly being about fixing what's wrong in the world. Much, much deeper point. Well, I guess the deepest. And that's just music would stopping. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, there's a lot of toxicity and stuff in the world. Everywhere you go, every one of you, me, all of us, we do it. We've had it done to us. Why? I'll tell you why. I've apparently, apart from my crazy knack for musical composition, I've gone a deep, long way into psychology. My mom was actually a big psychology fan back in her college days. Maybe it transferred down to me or something, I don't know. I don't really think there's anything more important than psychology until sociology. That's it. Those two. It's the only two topics that ever mattered. Ever. You're a human. You're on Earth. You don't know why. Doesn't matter because you can't change it. And as far away in space as we are, like, we're not gonna know the answers this life. We say the universe has been around for 14.5 billion years. Or is that the Earth? And what, humans are alive for hopefully 80. We're not even a blink of an eye. We're not even an eyelash or a mite on the end of that eyelash. We ain't nothing. As a human, your entire the psychology, that goes on in your mind as a being that exists, that is the whole of your experience of existing. Your mind is you. Everything you perceive using that mind is your reality, 100%. That's the end of the story, the whole book. That's it. Oh, look, there's 7.9 billion other humans. Someone's bound to interact. There's sociology. That's the after part 2. It can't go further than that. Not at this point. There's aliens, but wouldn't that, like, I don't know if there's something past sociology. Interplanetary sociology, I don't know. You get my point, though. I study people, I people watch, I test things. I don't test people. I'm not manipulative like that. I'll ask them, like, where was your head in this situation? Or when I responded this way, what did it make you feel? Kind of, getting feedback on questions people just don't normally ask. Questions on deeper levels, personal levels, with respect and discretion and all that. But the world is just a trash can. The way people treat each other, the things people have to go through, the way we have things set up. And I can't remember it verbatim. There's a meme on Facebook where it basically said something to the effect of, we're floating on a rock in the middle of nowhere, eons beyond any amount of space we can fathom crossing all by ourselves, right? And we have to worry about the IRS and file W-2s. Like, they worded it a lot better than that, but it's just like, what are we doing? Life could be so simple. Grow the food you need. Find the most humane way to knock out a cow. Cook them up. Share the steak, right? Go the fuck to bed. Take a shit before you go to bed. I don't know, whatever. That's it. That's all there is to a day. Your basic needs are what? You need shelter. Because us humans are dumb and without defense mechanisms, so we die out in the wild. At least, having been civilized so long. You need shelter, you need food, you need sleep. I guess water would be included with food. Warm temperature, that's whatever. Shelter, food, and sleep. That's all you need. Where does drama come in? Is it fending for resources? That old tribal mindset? Because nowadays there's no lack of resources, at least in America. Other countries, I can't speak on those because I haven't been to them. But, I've seen how the world goes. There's plenty of places where resources are just unheard of. So I get the scavenger mindset in a lot of places. I understand. But as far as being in a country where virtually anywhere you go, there's something to eat. There's a place to stay, whether it belongs to you or no one or someone. I'm not trying to advocate theft at any point. Or squatting, but there's something for everyone here, at least in America. Why is everyone that I see, and I'll just go ahead and say it, when I say everyone, I don't mean 100% of the humans, I mean 8 or 9 out of 10 that I've experienced. This is my account of my experience, my testimony. Fine, I'll change it. All these fucking people turning into rats and leeches. stealing, killing each other, raping people, kidnapping, taking baths to cars, cheating, just nonstop cruelty, drama, manipulation, lies, all that stuff. Like, why is all that happening? I'll tell you why when we get there. This episode is about my music and infected with my digressions and music that won't play on my phone. Let's see, let me switch the there we go. Or it just turns off. Alright, cool.
All of y'all lame, I don't give a fuck if you just want to play with my games. Everybody's stupid and I don't really care about this motherfucking fame. Mother fame.
I had a coffee that day.
Yeah.
I think I had 2.
Alright, we gonna try this again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My name's Benjamin.
Benjamin, what's up?
Kinda like this beat, so just DJ turn that back and let the turnstile spin.
So I used to go by sudden fire, which was just a dumb metaphor I came up with in the dumb part of my head. My poetry hadn't advanced yet for, like instantaneous trauma. You just, all of a sudden you get smacked with something that ruins your life for a minute. Suddenly there's fire everywhere, whatever. Ditched that name. It's like your old MySpace name. You're like, oh god, I remember that name. That was that name. I switched off to indigo at some point. I think it was when I learned about indigo children, and I am a self-proclaimed indigo child. I haven't had an aura seer tell me I am or anything, but I just go by the criteria list in my own experience. What's an indigo child? Back in the 70s, this woman I can't remember the name of, she could see people's auras. She was a big spiritualist. She wrote a whole book where she would see all these people's auras, whatever color they are, however strong they are. And there's this faction across the peoples where their auras were extremely strong, very, very bold, very far out from the bodies, like big old auras. And they were a deep royal purplish blue, which on the scale is indigo. And I want to say that violet is where blue touches purple, like exactly. Indigo would be 1 inch over to the blue side, or it's vice versa. It doesn't even matter, it's so close to blue purple. She called them indigo children. They are star seeds, which would be souls from a different star system or what have you. I never read the book. I'm just going off a short article I read, and some videos I watched. I don't know if these souls came over here to Earth to save Earth, or if it was a punishment and they just whatever. But they're above society. They're pure-hearted, pure soul. They have a motive to heal everyone. It's like an unstoppable force in them. Like unconditional love times 10. They're usually real deep on the spiritual side. They're mediums. They have paranormal powers. I shouldn't say powers, I hate that word. Abilities. Their psyche is way stronger. They're usually hyper talented or something. A lot of their criteria list sounds like autism, but unless I'm mistaken, autism doesn't have paranormality on the curriculum there. Their criteria list, whatever. They're way more than your average human being, and it's not just genius or skill or whatever. It's like you're not human kind of thing. You're something better trapped in a human body. I don't know why something like that would be stuck here on Earth, considering they're star seeds. I've related to all those things 100%. I've had so many wild synchronicities and astrological lineups and zodiac things, color themes, all kinds of stuff. It just keeps on going, happening across my entire life. I've gone through tons of trauma stuff. I've gone through blessings, just everything, but in like very specific linear fashion, very specific timing. And at one point I convinced myself maybe I was like a super genius that kept everything playing in the back of my head, my subconscious, and just let things happen exactly at the right time, so it all seemed like this big godly thing. There's no way that's the case. I mean, you can have the smarts to do that all day, but you can't count on people coming in with ability to help you with this or that, or to fall through in this or that anytime you want. That just doesn't happen. Or you just kind of go with the flow, and your timing is amazingly good. But anyway, I identify as one of those. You know, I drew up a logo. If you've seen it, it kind of looks like a weird letter I key candle thing. It's all three of those. I took the O, which is the Taurus symbol, that's me, and the N from a weird font I was using, smashed them over each other, and you got this letter I deal. That logo I will never let go of. It means so many different things. And ever since I switched names, I think that was around, I've gone through 3 rounds of losing all my equipment, all my work. You know, the devastation thereafter, big life changes during that, and then coming back in a year or 2 later, usually 2 years, with a whole new breath of life in what I write. Like all new skill level, all new beauty and power, whatever I have going on. Pretty sure that was during one of those transitions. But I've made a pact that no matter how good or bad my old stuff was, when I became indigo, I now had a singular word that's very meaningful on spiritual levels, even color theory, to represent. In color theory, blue is your deep emotional self, like the ocean or something. Purple is your psyche. You put those two together, you have emotional intellect, your emotional IQ. That's how well you can process your emotions and respond to the world around you and affect what happens in situations with your energy output. It's actual science for anybody that's going to be skeptic. Any skeptics out there listening to this, please continue to listen, because I can change your mind. Or at least give you all the wherewithal to wonder if you should do so. Because all the metaphysical things that we all hear about, spiritual, witchcraft, you know, this and that, from any culture, there's a lot of science that proves it. There's studies, there's tests, there's all kinds of stuff. Sage is scientifically proven to ionize atoms in the air, mostly germs, weigh them down to the ground, and you know, if you have a cold, your sickness is flying around the room, you burn sage, that sage literally weighs it to the ground, makes it like heavy, and ionizes it, I think negatively, and thus clears the air of that cold for a short amount of time, like a day. It's a slight anesthetic too. It'll calm your body down so it's not hyped up and, you know, whacked out. There's cold running through it. So it's an actual medicine. It's not just shamans shaking a leaf around and burning it because it smells good. Like, there's science there. If the way that you perceive and act and believe, you're an electromagnetic being, it affects the energy you put out. So your emotional IQ is how you handle that. The world thus far has been hell-bent on surviving, so understandably we've had to shut our emotions down quite a way in order to not be sensitive. Because if you're going into harsh terrain and there's perils all around you, like bears and desert heat and scorpions, or whatever the hell you could name, you can't run out there worried about your emotions. This day and age, we don't necessarily have those dangers. We have civilization all over the place, like an anthill. I think it's time we start to allow our emotions through, because since the dawn of time, we've had them. And since the dawn of time, we've spent every minute stuffing them down. And every one of you knows what happens when you stuff your feelings down. They ain't going anywhere. They're just gonna come right back up at some point. Could be 20 years down the line. Could be 2 days later. They'll all collect together and pop like a big bad zit all over the mirror. Blow like a volcano. That's gotta stop. We gotta learn how to communicate stuff. It's what the indigos are here for. To heal us, to teach us, see through our mistruths in our lives and our masks. Try to get the correct message through and correct mankind's energy. Revive this planet. Humankind is going to kill itself at some point. All the nuclear wars and the idiot politicians and the mass hysteria of everything that happens. School shootings. Like, how many hundreds of bad things could I name that humankind does to itself? There's even a theory that I actually kind of liked it. I saw it on a Facebook reel. I don't know how to look it back up. There's this old professor guy with like messy dark hair, kind of fat, sort of looked like George from Seinfeld, talking about how our solar system used to be full of life, but there was a giant nuclear war which destroyed most of the planets. That's why Mars is red. The radiation screwed off our species, which used to be green. Our blood was green. I don't know if we were reptilian or what. We were left with this kind of look at your skin in the mirror. That's what we were left with. We had to start back from scratch after having been advanced. And, without all that evolution and history and technology all throughout the solar system, we've just been monkeys on a ball of dirt. We've gotten this far, having restarted. That could explain. I don't do the Bible, but I can't say the Bible's not true and just wrongly written. If you read Genesis, it says there's just giants and angels and all kinds of different shit running around on the ground. And then it doesn't say anything. They're just all gone, right? Noah's Ark could have been a mothership collecting DNA. Not a guy who built a mountain-sized boat by himself in a short amount of time and collected every single animal on the planet. That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. But if it was a mothership or some huge spacecraft going about its advanced spacecraft way, collecting DNA samples of everything that lived here, it at least makes more sense in theory. They found the Ark in the mountains. They found a boat-shaped rock, is what they found. A boat isn't going to fossilize. It's wood. It would just decompose. They would find DNA all over that thing, if that was the case. But that's not my point. The indigos, I guess, were sent here or came here. Maybe they were part of what didn't die through all that nuclear fallout. I don't know what happened. But the indigos are here to fix the place, or, hopefully do so. And ever since I was young, I wanted to write an album, at least one song, and then be famous one day and be playing at a concert, and some guy stops me after the concert saying like, hey, I love your stuff. I just wanted to tell you, your stuff got me through a very hard time and saved my life. I appreciate your work. I just wanted to say thank you. I would cry. Doesn't matter if I'm a grown-ass man or a woman or what, I would cry. My life goal would be achieved. Just one person. That's all I want. Because there have been certain bands and songs and things that I was in desolate places singing those songs just over and over again to myself because I didn't have any stereo or anything. I was in jail once singing, I can't recall at the moment, Vanishing from 13th Step, the album by Perfect Circle. It's my favorite album of all time. There's a part in the middle of the song where it just says, away from here, away from here, away. It kind of repeats, and the song's very trancy and layered and atmospheric. There's like a bass line just in a ride cymbal drum beat just cruising on. I think I sang that on repeat and just to myself in the holding cell for about half an hour in this dismal depression. Music is the one thing all people relate to. If you're in a cannibal tribe in the middle of Africa's jungles or something, and you've only heard a drum, one singular drum your entire life, maybe you wouldn't understand music if, like fucking Dance Gavin Dance. Probably sound like complete chaos to you, you'd freak out. But at any further civilized level, no matter what country you're from or what language you speak, music is just a standard part of the day, like eating toast. Honestly, I don't understand how some people, like this one girl I dated, just don't listen to music. This girl would talk to me for 40 minutes. We worked together. She'd drive home at the end of the shift. It was a 40-minute drive. She didn't have any music on in that car, whether she was talking to me on the phone or not. I asked her, what she listened to. I don't really listen to anything. Nothing? Not even the radio? No. Like, what? Are you an android?
You're playing mind games.
I could never comprehend that one. But,
you look fine. I mean, if you just give it some time, snack a little bit throughout.
It's the one thing that, causes communion. What do churches open up with? Song. Tribal people that have a giant bonfire, pagans or whatever, go to Renfest, the campgrounds, straight drum circle. It's music. Every podcast starts off with some type of intro song. Video games, background music, movies, music score. Music is as standard as wearing socks. It will always be there. It is the one thing everybody just expects to have. Can you imagine the world if music was never a thing? It just wasn't an idea. It was not a concept. It never will be. There is just natural sound around you. I don't even have an answer as to how music came around.
Everybody's beautiful in their own way.
I understand rhythm, repetitive rhythm, trancing you out if you're on some hallucinogenic drug. I get that. I guess it just slowly evolved like anything else does, right? The ability to affect frequencies by, choice, picking certain pitches, creating something which is we call an instrument that you can just select whatever pitch you want, play it at will. And these pitches have emotional, physiological effects on whatever's hearing it.
I was trying to decompose so we could grow a new tree. Next year, after this one froze,
all the way up to the point, I'm answering my own question, this is crazy. All the way up to the point where we've got technical death metal bands. And when you hear that music, it makes you just want to rip up everything in your room, thrash around, set everything on fire, and scream out all your fury, and you feel great after. Classical music that makes you close your eyes and just conduct an orchestra with your bare hand because of how brilliantly written it is. I've digressed so far away. This episode doesn't even matter anymore.
Couldn't hear it. Ringtone was off, so I couldn't hear the sound. Not like I could call it. I ain't got a second phone at all. Like some of them, rich ass mall men.
So about my music, every album I've ever liked, I usually only like one damn good one at a time, just like the friends I've had. I don't remember the first one. I know one of the first was it's classified as easy listening. It's Grand Eagle by Ed Van Fleet. This guy is just surrounded by a billion keyboards out in Florida, in Sarasota. It's an instrumental CD, all kinds of synths and fake instruments, some real guitars and drums in there. but it's not a band. It's like just musical music. There's a song called Gathering Tribes. It's got a whole bunch of these neat flutes like dun 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 doo 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 dun 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 dun. It's like musical music. There's nothing to do with singing or a band or concerts or any of that. Just an actual composer took a badass keyboard synthesizer and just wrote stuff. But every song was different, completely different. Every song was its own little journey and world and full of its own colors. I went off to Dosage by Collective Soul. I don't care about any of their other work, really, except for that December song. But Dosage, every song in there, the poetry is beautiful. The guitar effects are constantly changing. Even the distortion that Ross Childress uses is different on every track. The drums are different on every track. I don't know if they're electronic or tracked or play. I don't know what he did. Every song is its own little experience. What a great CD. And then I went to, I want to say I probably graduated up to like high school where I listened to Hybrid Theory album by Linkin Park. Somebody gave me Follow the Leader by Korn. Linkin Park, obviously, some people hate it because it's, crazy rap emo band or whatever. I thought they were just like Nirvana. They broke the whole scene open. And then you got, right behind them, you got Limp Bizkit, you got Crazy Town. I just discovered another one recently that I've never heard of. I don't know if they're new or not. It's like We Are Band Nerds. They got some badass jams. Those guys, good job, y'all. You give me a weird feeling like Tribe Called Quest mixed with Linkin Park. I don't know if that makes sense. That's probably a strange comparison. Y'all gotta check that band out. They have a zombie song. Wake the Dead. They got some stuff. Follow the Leader is my second favorite album of all time, right behind 13 Step by Perfect Circle, which would be my next one on the list. Follow the Leader, I'm just gonna say it, that's Korn's best album. I won't say it's their only good one, but maybe the first 4 albums they had was Life is PG, I think one's self-titled, Follow the Leader, and Issues. After that, I don't listen to anything by them at all, except the Skrillex mix with them, Sucker Punch What Get Up, from the Sucker Punch movie. I hate everything after Issues. But Follow the Leader got awards for being so well produced and so genre defying and just so like psychotic and angry and heavy for what we had at the time. If y'all don't know, Korn wasn't the first group to do what they were doing, but they essentially founded nu metal. Later on, you got Slipknot and all of them, but Korn was really the first band to get up out there. Same way that Nirvana didn't really invent grunge, but they're the ones that pushed it out. Follow the Leader, it's non-stop guitar effects. Every song, any kid that had a darkness in their head could relate to that CD. John Davis didn't even want to be the singer. He wanted to be like a drummer or something, but he's like, man, whatever. Going through, tons of abuse at home, put it all into the words, and just has this sort of nerdy, bad sound, by consideration of a producer at the time. That shit broke everybody open. Everybody related to it. There's such raw power in those riffs. There's like a primal power. Like, oh man, I'll just find something to grab and crush in my hand listening to those riffs. And the songsmanship, the musicianship, the way they write the songs start to finish, the way they'll take a riff later on in the song, play the same riff but an octave lower so it like triples in power. The weird ideas and the effects, it's just wow. And then 13 Step by Perfect Circle, every single song is different. The lyrics are incredibly genius, like untouchably brilliant. Every song is beautiful. They all flow together. I don't know how these people do that. It's just a rainbow of genius. After that, not too many big standouts. There was like Meshuggah came into view, started the whole gent thing, and then that they did what they did, but everybody after them basically tanked the metal scene. And then you got Animals as leaders. Came in and played guitar better than anybody can. Hell yeah. I would always go for the elite choices. They're the ones that started genres. They're the ones that everybody tried to be thereafter. Those were my choices. But the theme was that every song was its own experience. Whether the instrumentation was the same or constantly differed. There was a flow from track to track. It was like one full book. And I've considerably deemed myself a musical empath. So the way empaths feel other people's emotions, like they're their own. Like if you walk into a room pissed off, all of a sudden I'm pissed off. I don't even know what happened or why you're pissed off. It's just it's like contagious emotion, kind of. You come around me with pneumonia, I'm gonna catch it and get pneumonia. It's like that with feelings for empaths. Apparently, there's musical empaths, so my emotional connection to the music is 100%. So if I feel something, I've got to write it in a song. And when you listen to the song, I'm assuming that you're gonna feel what I was feeling, and that actually became my goal. That if not an individual song, at least an album. Once you listen to the whole thing, you would feel as if you experienced my experience as I experienced it. You know, when people film a movie good enough that you feel like you were there and felt the things that the characters are feeling, like it really put you there. I want to do that with my songs. This was a recording I did, and I had internal audio for the music and the microphone for the voice. I guess the internal audio is too loud, so it made this buzzing sound. I'll play some of my songs in a second. I might just make this a super episode, or maybe break it into two, so it's not like a 100-hour Ben-Hur marathon of me. Let me pick a different track here. And I've done everything improv until now. I didn't write this down or rehearse it. I'm just going off whatever's in my head. I'm going to edit in the song so you hear them at full quality, instead of just recording off my JBL speaker and it being all resonating and trashy sounding. I'm I don't know how else to say it. I'm an extremely serious, dedicated, passionate, can't stop, won't stop musician. Music is me. I play by ear. I can read sheet music. I don't want to. I don't need to. If I listen to some crazy complex guitar solo, it might take me a minute to figure out what notes he played, but I can hear it at the speed they play it and then go, shorter or longer time frame, translate that and figure out what they were playing. I'm not a virtuoso on guitar. I can't do what Origin does or Stevie Ray Vaughan. I can't do that. I don't know how they do that. They're just meant to do that. But overall, I go real fucking deep on setting an atmosphere in my songs, trying to convey messages and feelings all the way up into the lyrics, which just further refine it. I'm very picky about my lyrics. I usually kind of they just sort of come out of nowhere. I feel if I'm sitting around too long trying to think of lyrics, I just scrap the file. I don't even care about them anymore. I just make sure the song's finished and they'll pop up in my head at some point. I'll just make the song instrumental. Who cares? I sing about the perspectives of the people in the situation that the song is about. There'll be, what I'm going through. And I've got a knack for getting into other people's heads and viewing things, what's going on with them. And I'll write what's called a call recall. Well, okay, that's not entirely correct. the bass plays some notes, and then the guitar plays some notes back to it, and then the bass plays some notes, and the guitar plays some notes back to it. That's called recall. I'm not sure how to describe what I do on lyrics. Like a verse will be, what I'm going through, some thoughts I had, a perspective I have on a person. The next verse or the chorus or something will be what's going on in their mind looking at me. So it's not necessarily a conversation. It's like an alternation between views. And since I don't denote who's talking, that I'm guessing the listener could just take whichever lyric and apply it whatever way they want to. Kind of leaves it open. But if you know what the situation was about, then you're like, oh wow, yeah, that's probably this guy, and this is you. I get it. Behind all of that, something I really never told many people, the melodies I write, this does not apply 100% of the time. And it applied more in the past than it does now. But a lot of the, however a situation went, I will match the music in intensity level or calmness or what have you chronologically to the story. If something crazy happened out of nowhere and then it caused a lot of panic and damage and stuff, and then friends disappeared until it was just me, and then I sat for months wondering what to do with my isolation, the song's going to blast off and slowly kind of lose intensity, right? If that makes sense. As well, in my old self, the melodies I wrote, if I was doing synth stuff, like electronic stuff, the instruments or the synth sounds I would use were mimicking things in the situation. Like, I used to live with my grandparents, so I might have misbehaved a little bit and pissed off mom. She would call my grandpa, and they'd have this whole thing on the phone. I'd be kind of hiding out in my room, right? I was writing these goofy songs back when I smoked weed a lot, and I used some weird little beep noise that sounded like a telephone ring. And then I had two synths. One was high pitched, one was low pitched. They were alternating these just nonsense melodies, but I was emulating the conversation of my grandpa and my mom on the phone, and somehow it fed into the rhythm and how the song worked. You kind of have to hear it, I guess. I've seen videos and read articles on autistic people that get into music, and they have a lot of the same conventions in their head about how they approach music. There's some kid that can't speak at all. He's got like severe autism, but the notes and melodies that he can get through on this little program on his computer with music specifically mean certain words. So if he's hungry, I think it's like a certain pitch or a note of a specific instrument means, I'm hungry. I forget how it works, but it's something like that. If he were to write a book in music, I would love to know how it would sound. I would give anything to go hear that. It'd either be chaos or it'd be the best music anybody ever wrote. There's so much to my writing. It's my entire world. And my brain thinks nonstop creative, offshoot ways, abstract ways. Somebody says something, I think of 100 things that maybe rhyme with it, or 100 different puns I can make, or it starts becoming its own little story. It's just like, I can't stop it. I'm not complaining. Kind of like what Eminem said. It's like some days you kind of wish your brain would just calm down. But then when you want to go write, you wish your brain would kick up. If I don't have my music, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't go insane, but I, kind of just become crabby and idle hands style, like I just come up with other hobbies to learn just so I'm doing something. Just waiting around to have another way to write music again. Thankfully, we have technology, and you can always download music writing stuff from Google Play or Apple Play, and there's, I don't know how many stupid apps there are. My suggestions right there, because I'll probably jump onto my songs right about now. BandLab is rated the top as far as like using your fingers on a screen to have to do everything, BandLab's pretty slick. A little confusing to figure out what to do at first, and they definitely made a mess of it with the interface now. There's like shit all over the place. Like what used to be just an instrument selection kind of feed, there's like 100 things on that screen now that nobody needs. They need to just put all that back, put it all back. Because I was trying to show a friend recently, she can't write music or play instruments, and she's trying to tell me what melody she wants for me to turn into good music that she can sing to. So I was like, well, get BandLab. You know, we can actively collaborate on a project if we're not right next to each other. You could beep in the notes, I'll figure out what you're hearing in your head, save a lot of work, and just the whole screen's covered in shit. All the tabs are weird, like, please redesign your app, BandLab. But aside from that, if you get around all that, it's a great way to write stuff. There's a lot of other options, but I would say BandLab's probably the best. If you're more of the pro level like me, go for FL Studio Mobile. It's got some quirks. It's $16, but you can translate it as a plugin to FL on your computer. And I can make some fantastic sounding stuff for it being a mobile app. It comes with a ton of synths and drums and all kinds of stuff in there. Like, have fun. As far as audio editing, I've used NCH's WavePad. It's got a free version. I think they want you to pay, but they give you enough rounds of using pro stuff for free for a good bit until they start being like, you need to pay, and it's only like a few bucks. Like, you know, have a friend loan you a few dollars. It's definitely got some buggy quirks here and there, but nothing that's... The only thing that ever pissed me off is that I'd be recording. My idiot self would leave the app to go do a bunch of stuff while recording, come back to the app, and it doesn't go back. It kind of just blanks out and then closes it. Lose the entire recording. This is the only thing, and that's for me being outside of the app while it's recording for maybe a whole 10-15 minutes. Like, beyond that, it's excellent. Even the free version. So NCH Software's WavePad and Fruity Loops Mobile or BandLab. Those are my suggestions. If there's anything better, I haven't found it yet. I use FL Studio on my computer. So I guess the last note. Most of the stuff I write is all the stuff I write is something I'm going through at the time or just went through. Once I'm outside of a phase of emotion like that, it's real hard for me to write anything about it. I have to be emotionally involved. It's probably the musical empath thing, for all I know. Anybody trying to write music and can't figure it out or don't know why it won't come out of you, whatever you're writing is not where your brain is not where your heart is. I don't know what to sing about in this one song. I can't come with words. Well, you're probably not writing about what you're constantly thinking about or what you're really feeling. You're just simply writing stuff about anything, like a bunch of breakup songs. Think about what's actually going on in your head and where your heart is sitting that day. You know, I don't know a good example. My friend was trying to write some song about, you know, just general breakup lyrics or something basic like that. She couldn't think of lyrics. She didn't know what the hell to write about. She didn't even know like what melody to sing or nothing. She had like nothing. She came to me like begging me to figure it out. And I told her, send me all your lyrics. Send me like your phone notepad notes. And I looked at it all, and it's just a bunch of standard thoughts and lyric attempts. But we talk all the time. I'm like, you know, nothing in your lyrics that you're attempting has anything to... or it's not nearly as deep as the things that you talk to me about. And she'll hit a topic about some ex of hers, get all amped up, and, you know, just start going off about these details. And it has like her brain racing. I'm like, hey, write about that. That right there. That's where your heart is sitting, on those subjects. Detail those situations. find poetic ways to summarize someone's worth or what was going on in someone's head or the effect it had on you, but like shrink it down to little poetic lines instead of a whole book. Write that and watch those words just jump the fuck out of you. And if anything, that just makes your work more authentic. But everything I write is like that, and if I'm writing about somebody, I tailor it to that person. Like my Serenity album I just put out, the girl, her sign is Cancer, so it's all ocean based. We used to play Minecraft a lot together, so half the songs are named after Minecraft words. Hopefully it's not a copyright thing. That was the first time I wrote a positive, happy, jazzy album versus my dark, heavy rock metal stuff I usually do. Because that's what she liked. The album cover is pink all over it because that's the only color she's into. I tailored the whole thing to fit her. It's not just to make her like it, it's because that album embodies my experience with her. So why would I design it like anything else? Right? Every album that I make, that's what I'm doing. Unless it's just purely about myself. Like At Day's End was just me being a mall rat. Dating random chicks and just being stupid. So I just have like an empty road with misty horizon and it says Indigo At Day's End because that's where I was headed. It was nowhere. Used to write theme songs for friends at parties. But anyway, www.indigochild.bandcamp.com is my primary website. I have a SoundCloud, but it's kind of worthless right now. Bandcamp, the older stuff, it's good, but it's whatever, especially on the singing. The newer stuff, it's way better, especially on the singing. I have probably 10 projects in my head that are unfinished or unwritten, and they all remain in my head as I was robbed March 5th, 2023, as everyone should be aware of by now, all my ranting on about it in the previous episodes. Y'all can take everything you want from me. You can't steal my potential, and you definitely can't stop my willpower. I'm a Taurus, bitch. You fucked with the bull, you're gonna get these horns. I'm gonna write a whole album about it. It's gonna be a blast. And hopefully it's gonna make me famous. I'm just gonna laugh at you all the way up. It just sucks that I kind of have to sit there and rebuild my equipment setup, which was $3,000. Guitars and all. But whatever, that's material stuff. Whatever, I've gone through that 10 times. But the work on my computer, being able to prove I wrote things, the projects I had, that I couldn't upload because I didn't have Wi-Fi, I gotta remake all that. I don't remember a lot of it. Also, at this point in time, I also don't really give a fuck. I'll just keep writing. I'll write even better stuff. I'll name the album after those people if I have to. They're not gonna stop me. This is my passion. This is my calling in life. One setback is only that. It's one setback. Name an athlete or a Olympian or a legendary painter or anybody that's stopped because one shitty situation happened. None of them. Not a damn one of them that I can think of. So I'm not sure where to start. Let me check the time frame on this blab. If it's around an hour, I'll cut it, and then the next episode will be like part 2. If it's like shorter than that, I'll probably just throw out some songs. I might just make the next episode part 2. That'd probably be the smartest way to do it. So you have like the explanatory side, and you have one that just goes straight to the music if you don't care. Sounds fair. You're listening to The Indigo Show. It's your boy Ben, the host of the most. Y'all about to hear what most is.